Welcome everyone! Today, we're diving into Concept Solutions and the powerful role that brainstorming plays in bringing those solutions to life. When we face a challenge, it's easy to feel limited by the first few ideas that come to mind. But those initial ideas are often the most obvious. They're the ones everyone else is likely to think of too. The real breakthroughs happen when we push further, explore unusual possibilities, and allow ideas to evolve. That's where brainstorming comes in. It's not just a think fast game, it's a structured process that taps into the creativity of individuals and groups, helping us discover solutions we might never have considered. By the end of this session, you'll have a toolkit of brainstorming techniques that can be applied not only in creative work, but in problem solving for business, personal projects, and even everyday decisions. At its core, brainstorming is a creative thinking method for generating ideas, lots of them, in a short amount of time. Brainstorming works through two key phases. Divergent thinking. This is about opening the door as wide as possible. We welcome every idea, no matter how unusual, and let quantity take priority over quality. Think of it as gathering all the raw materials you can before you start building. Convergent thinking. Once we've gathered that big pool of ideas, we then analyze, combine, and refine them into workable solutions. Imagine you're designing a community garden. Divergent thinking might give you hundreds of suggestions, from planting vegetables to having a butterfly sanctuary. Convergent thinking then helps you decide which ones best suit your budget, space, and community needs. Brainstorming can be done individually, but group sessions have a special energy. In groups, ideas can build on each other, and someone's half-formed thought might trigger a brilliant suggestion from someone else. To keep ideas flowing, we can use tools like word games, quick associations that loosen the mind, written exercises, jotting down ideas quickly without worrying about grammar or detail, improvisation, spontaneous responses without preparation, algorithms, step-by-step frameworks that guide thinking, random associations, linking unrelated things to spark fresh directions. The point is to break away from habitual thought patterns. A fresh approach often leads to fresh solutions. For brainstorming to work, the environment must feel safe and open. That's why these 5 rules are essential. 1. Have a single specific question. Too broad and ideas are scattered. Too narrow and they stall. 2. Go for quantity. The more you have to choose from, the greater the chance of finding a standout. 3. Withhold criticism. Instead of shutting down an idea, build on it. The impossible idea might inspire something brilliant. 4. Weird is good. The most unusual ideas often spark breakthroughs because they're unexpected. 5. Combine and improve. Merge ideas to make something more substantial than either one alone. Picture a music jam session. You don't stop the band to criticize one wrong note. You keep playing and see where it leads. Here are 7 brainstorming techniques we can use to generate and explore ideas. We'll just look at them briefly here, and then we'll go into each one in more detail. They include visual methods like mind mapping, question, base prompts like the checklist, perspective, shifting tools like 6 thinking hats, and lateral thinking, as well as more creative triggers such as random word generation and picture association. Finally, we have change perspective, which helps us see our ideas in a new light. These are all different ways of unlocking fresh thinking, and as we go through them one by one, you'll see how each can be applied to a variety of challenges. Let's start with mind mapping. Think of it as drawing a living map of your ideas. You place your central concept in the middle of the page, for example, launching a community cafe. From that, you draw branches for related themes: menu, decor, marketing, community events, and sustainability. Each of those branches can sprout further. Under marketing, you might have social media campaigns, local flyers, collaborations with schools. What makes mind mapping so powerful is that it allows ideas to grow organically. You can follow your thoughts wherever they lead without worrying if they're practical just yet. Later, when you step back and look at the whole map, You often spot patterns and connections you didn't see in the moment. It's a mix of free-flow creativity and visual organization that's hard to match. Now, the checklist is a different type of tool. Instead of branching outward, it pushes you to ask targeted questions. These questions: why, where, when, who, what, how, force you to explore every corner of a problem. For instance, if you're planning a training workshop, why is it needed? Who will attend? Where will it be held? When is the best time? What topics will be covered? How will success be measured? The checklist works because it stops you from assuming you already know the answers. It's inspired by the natural curiosity we all had as children, a curiosity that often fades unless we deliberately nurture it. The 6 Thinking Hats method, created by Edward de Bono, gives us a structured way to think about problems from multiple angles. Each hat is a role you step into. The white hat is all about facts. What do we know for sure? What information is missing? The red hat focuses on feelings. What's your gut reaction? How does this make people feel? The black hat is caution. What risks do we need to consider? Where might this go wrong? The yellow hat looks for positives. What's good about this? How could it work better than expected? The green hat is pure creativity. What new possibilities haven't we explored? The blue hat is the manager. How do we structure this discussion and keep it productive? In a group, this technique helps keep the discussion balanced. Imagine you're launching a new service. One person might naturally focus on risks, while another jumps to creative ideas. By wearing the hats in turn, everyone gets to explore all perspectives, and ideas aren't dismissed too quickly or accepted without proper thought. Lateral thinking is about finding solutions by stepping sideways, rather than pushing forward in a straight line. Many of us are trained to solve problems logically. A leads to B, which leads to C. But sometimes, the real breakthrough comes from taking an unexpected path. For example, suppose a company wants to reduce long queues at their coffee counter. A traditional approach might be to hire more staff. A lateral approach might be to install self-service coffee machines for common orders, freeing staff for more complex drinks. It's about questioning assumptions and asking, is there a completely different way to approach this? Random word generation is more playful but surprisingly effective. You pick 2 unrelated words, maybe ocean and clock, and then force yourself to link them to your topic. If you're designing a travel campaign, ocean might lead to seaside destinations, while clock could spark ideas about seasonal deals or time challenges. This technique works because it disrupts your usual mental pathways, letting you see connections you wouldn't normally make. Picture association uses imagery as a creative trigger. You might choose a random image related to your topic, or completely unrelated, and build a story or concept around it. If your challenge is improving teamwork, and you pick an image of a mountain, you might think about shared goals, perseverance, and reaching the summit together. Images work because they engage our emotions as well as our intellect, opening the door to richer ideas. Change perspective is a reality check for your ideas. After working on something for a while, it's easy to get stuck in your own way of thinking. By sharing your work with others, you invite fresh eyes to spot strengths and weaknesses you might miss. This could mean asking a colleague for honest feedback, or even imagining how a competitor or customer might view your solution. Sometimes just seeing your work from another angle can transform it from good to great. That's our session on Concept Solutions and Brainstorming. The main takeaway is that creativity is not just inspiration, it's a process. By using these techniques, you can approach challenges with a clear structure, generate a wide range of ideas, and refine them into solutions that are both innovative and workable. Remember, the more you practice, the faster and more naturally these creative skills will develop. And the next time you face a problem, you'll have more than one way to solve it.